What's up? Welcome back to Let's Get Weird with me, your host, Sam Altieri. Today, our special guest is Dr. Jenny. She is a fierce ally in reclaiming your voice, confidence, pleasure, and power. She's a naturopathic doctor, a somatic pleasure coach, ooh la la, a breathwork facilitator, retreat leader, and host of the Juicy Truth podcast. Her podcast is fucking fire, BTW. She's spent years guiding women to uncover the root cause of their hormonal issues, heal from body dysmorphia, body disconnection, and break free from societal good girl conditioning using holistic medicine, breathwork, sensual dance, and feminine energy practices to ignite liberation from within. On our conversation today, we talk about everything from reclaiming your power, your pleasure, your pussy. What don't we get into? It's so much fun. I can't wait for you guys to dive in. Now let's get weird. Dr. Jenny, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. What's up?
Oh, I just love how vibrant you showed up today.
Thank you.
Bright pink. I'm so excited to talk with you about all things sexuality, sensuality, naturopathic stuff, mind-body connection. So many things.
All the things.
We're going to go on a whirlwind. It's going to be juicy.
Can't wait. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's go, baby. And welcome to Austin.
Thank you.
Austin tour, baby. It's the vibes are good.
The Austin tour of the Sam show.
Yeah, yeah. You were at a class last night. Tell me about that more.
I was at a class called Big Pussy Energy, and it was a fucking vibe. I mean, it's a dance class, but it's also about like sensual embodiment. So getting into your body, getting into your sensuality, just really being present in a non-judgmental way. And it's also, there's so much sisterhood too. Like everybody was like cheering each other on, like, yes, bitch, you're so hot. Like it was just so fun.
I love that. Obviously twerking.
Obviously twerking.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yo, remember the retreat? We were like getting it down, you know?
And I was like, I don't know how to twerk.
I don't know.
Just have to remember how to twerk.
Yeah, I think that is what it is. It's a remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a good place to start.
Twerking is sacred.
Yeah. Okay, so you said something to me right before we hit record, which is that pleasure is the compass.
Mm.
Let's go into that. What does that really mean? And how have you come to that conclusion?
Yeah. So what I mean by that is just letting pleasure or feeling good, the act of things that feel good in your body, letting that be your guiding light or this compass for how you live your life. So making your choices in this lens of like, is this going to feel good in my body?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, not everything in this life is going to feel good. But when you use pleasure as this, like, again, this compass, this guiding light, this thing that brings you home, your life is so fucking juicy. It's so pleasurable. And I mean, the word pleasure, I think, gives a lot of people the ick, but that's why I like using it. It's like, no, we're fucking reclaiming pleasure. It is ours to take. It's our birthright.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that, you know, you obviously have to be connected to your body to experience pleasure, right? You and I have a similar background of growing up Catholic.
Yeah.
And how we both had experiences. And I want to hear more about your story around like the Catholic guilt. Mm-hmm. And also, I think just generally in society, like so many women are disconnected from their body. There's so much shame. There's so much like repression of the feminine. So like, what has your journey been with pleasure?
Well, I would say there was an absence of pleasure for a very long time. I mean, there was so much shame, so much guilt, so much like disconnection that, you know, whether it was from a Catholic upbringing or just a lot of things that I put on myself being this like good girl, there was no conversation around what made me feel good. It was always about what makes everybody else feel good, putting everybody else's needs before my own, sexually or otherwise. So pleasure just like was not even on the table.
So what did that like look like for you in life? Like, can you give me like an example of, I don't know, say a situation where whether you're with friends or you're with a partner or you're dating, like what did it look like to have your pleasure turned off or like you be disconnected?
Mm-hmm. So in like intimate partnerships, relationships, it looked like staying with people who did not care about my needs, whether it was in the bedroom or otherwise. I was always about making them happy. And a lot of the times that came at the expense of myself, like self-sacrificing, bending over backwards to make them happy, when they just ended up treating me like shit, basically. It also in friendships and just everyday life, it's like you continue to outsource your opinions and your power, and you're just like, oh, everything's fine. I don't have any opinions. Like, oh, where do you want to go to eat? It's okay. I'll go wherever. Like, those are just little sneaky ways that it was like finding its way in. But yeah, it definitely showed up a lot in my like intimate relationships in the past because it was always about the other person. It was always about making them happy, always about, yeah, just about them. And then obviously that translated into my sex life. And, you know, there's something to be said for like being inexperienced and like all the things. But
Sure.
growing up so disconnected from my body, I had no idea what felt good, no idea how to ask for what I wanted. And sex was bad, right? Like you grow up in the church or in a conservative, you know, household, sex is bad. You're supposed to save it till marriage. And if you have it, you're a bad person or you're shameful or it's wrong. Like how the fuck are you supposed to enjoy sex if that's your mindset around it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was having this relationship, you know, where outside of the bedroom, it was all about them. In the bedroom, it was all about them, not about what I needed, what felt good for me. Yeah, so I'd say that's like the biggest way it showed up.
Yeah. So it's like kind of people pleasing
yeah.
with sex, relationships, anything. Just pleasures last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and we don't learn about pleasure, right? Only, I think 20 states in the US have medically accurate sexual education. They're all about abstinence if they're not. And then we definitely don't talk about female pleasure. So fucking forget about it. You have to kind of figure it out on your own. And then it's embarrassing to try and figure out, you know, when you have all this conditioning around sex. So female pleasure, I think, is just something that's not talked about. It's not understood. And so many women are struggling with it, but they just don't know how to like get what they want.
Right. Or they don't even know where to turn because sex in itself is such a taboo topic and there's a lot of shame in the whole thing. Yeah. Right. So then there's no place to go. So then they're just in the dark.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and we hold on to so much shame, right? Shame is like the enemy of the sacral chakra, especially. So where we harbor the sacred, sensual, sexual energy, if we hold a lot of shame about our bodies, about pleasure, about receiving pleasure, it just literally turns everything off there.
Right. So, okay. How does somebody start to release, let go of some of the shame, guilt, other stuff, like whether it's this, shame around who they are, their body, their sexuality, their sensuality, or guilt around receiving pleasure and feeling worthy of that?
I think it looks different for every person, of course, but like the biggest thing to start with is just getting an awareness of how it's showing up in your life. So where are you still people pleasing? Where are you still not asking for what you need because you feel bad or you feel shameful or embarrassed? And once you can get some clarity on how that's actually impacting you, you can think about the opposite. Like, how different would your life be if you got to ask for what you needed, if you got to feel good, if you got to experience pleasure? And once you have a little bit more of that awareness, we can figure out where it came from, because that's important too, right? We want to like figure out where all the stories we have about our body and our sex lives and relationships come from, because they're probably not yours, meaning it's something you either observed in relationships growing up, something you were taught, something you were conditioned to believe, and you get to figure out what the fuck your truth is about sex, about your body, about pleasure. For me, like the biggest tools, like the actual tangible tools that were helpful has been breathwork, has been somatic exercises and things that get me into the body, like dance, especially. So like doing a BPE class or pole dancing or anything that helped connect me into that like sexual energy. And pleasure as well, like exploring things, feeling safe in my body to receive pleasure. Honestly, having a healthy relationship where I could explore those things and I could work through some of that wounding has been the biggest gift. And I think a really big catalyst for my healing too.
Yeah. Oh my God. You just said so many things that I want to dive into. The first one is like, so I think that a lot of women are just straight up scared, right? They're scared of their body. They're scared of sex. They're scared to like look in the mirror. They're scared to like explore themselves, their parts. Like we're so disconnected from that. And these exercises you're talking about, dancing, breathwork, movement, partnership, that kind of like slow exploration. Have you had clients or maybe experiences yourself where people have like a real big obstacle or discomfort around doing that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. So how do we get them over that hurdle, whether it's the mindset or starting really small? Like, what's that look like?
Well, I think that's why so many people avoid this work too. And they keep settling for relationships that don't feel good, for sex lives that are like just meh, like I could go without it kind of vibes, because it's fucking scary to face the inner demons and the mindset shifts that need to happen for us to live in an embodied, like pleasurable state. So if that's you, and that was me for a long time in my journey as well, especially, you know, having navigated some sexual trauma, like my body just didn't feel safe.
And
So,
can I ask you, when you say that, because I felt that in the past as well, but when you say my body doesn't feel safe, or it didn't feel safe to be in your body, what does that mean?
That showed up in a lot of different ways. Like physically, it showed up as I was exhausted all the time. I ended up getting like very real physical diseases, an autoimmune disease, especially self-attacking self, body attacking body.
Wow.
That happened after an extremely abusive relationship. No fucking surprise, because when we continually suppress our needs and we go through some sort of trauma, the body remembers unless you give it a way to process. So it showed up in very real physical places like hormonal concerns, autoimmune disease, but it also showed up where like I would get to the edge of an orgasm and I would make my partner stop because it didn't feel safe for me to like go over that edge into something that actually felt good.
Wow.
Or I just would like, they would finish and I just wouldn't ask for anything else. I would just be like, okay, we're done. Bye. Like, and I would be nowhere close to having anything that felt good. You know, it shows up in a lot of different sneaky ways, but those were like the biggest ways for me.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, and now you're obviously teaching women on this, and you're a naturopathic doctor, and you're sex, intimacy, relationship coach. Like you're helping women really get to the root of all of this. And what do you think is like the biggest surprise when either a client works with you or a conversation with them, when they come to you, they're sharing, you know, like what is, okay, let me ask it this way. A client comes to you, how does it present? How does the problem present itself? Is it, I'm dealing with some sort of like health issue, disease, I feel disconnected from the body, and then their desire is, I want to live a more pleasurable life, I want to have better sex, I want to feel safer. What does that kind of process look like?
A lot of women are coming to me because they do have some sort of hormonal concern, whether they're dealing with like endometriosis, fibroids, something giving them a lot of physical pain and concerns. So that's kind of the gateway. But then we start digging in a little bit deeper and we realize like they have a really poor body image. They don't talk to themselves very well when they look in the mirror. They don't touch themselves in any way. They, whether it's, you know, sex or otherwise, they have zero connection. They're basically almost like at war with their bodies. It's like, oh, I don't know her. We're not friends. But a lot of the times they don't come in with that awareness. It's like through conversations, they're like, oh, I guess I didn't realize how bad it was. They were just focused on the physical symptoms. And a lot of the times people come to me when they're at the point where they're frustrated with their sex lives because their partner wants to have sex more than they do, or they're having sex that doesn't feel very good and they don't know that there's any other way, really.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is prompted by like, my partner wants to have sex all the time and I just feel like I could go without it, or I don't really enjoy sex, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Those would be like the two, I think, big ways that people show up and like have that awareness already.
Yeah. Okay. So libido, and then things like hormonal stuff, I'm sure, would you say endo, fibroids, like things in like the womb space? That's all in the womb?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then you translate the physical symptoms, which are just, it's just like the body expressing whatever, right, to the actual root cause, which is likely like the emotional, the mental, spiritual, those pieces.
Yeah. Not to say that there's not very valid, real physical reasons why we have concerns like that. You know, we live in a toxic environment. We're constantly exposed to things that disrupt our hormones. We, you know, have to think about nutrition and lifestyle and all of this. But I've seen so many times where women are doing all the things right, quote unquote. They start eating well, they exercise, they take supplements, they take medications, but they still don't feel well physically. And then we figure out there's some sort of block in the body, whether they experienced, a lot of times it is some sort of sexual trauma, emotional abuse, or something along those lines. Or it's just something even more pervasive, like their relationship to their body is terrible. They have a negative self-image. They have more of a hateful relationship with their body, and that shows up. I mean, I've just seen it happen in one too many patients where I'm like, there's no fucking way this isn't one of the root causes of why these concerns exist, especially for women. We're so turned off from our bodies and our power, and our womb space specifically like holds so much of that. there's no surprise, why we have so many of these concerns happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really fascinated in this because I know that obviously the sacral chakra, right? That's where a lot of this is living, is like the womb.
Mm.
And all that is the creativity center. Like that's where we're creative, right? And as entrepreneurs and as people who are building things, we have to be creative, right? Like that's part of like that's like life force energy. That's like how we create programs and offers and retreats and events. Like we need to have a flow of creative energy. So what I'm wondering is like this connection between all of this stuff happening and female specifically, entrepreneurial success, and how those two things are intermingled. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm like,
I have a lot of thoughts.
yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that you receive pleasure into your life is the way that you receive anything. So if you're not like financially where you want to be or creatively where you want to be, we can look at things like how much pleasure you have in your life, how willing you are to receive, how able you are to surrender. But it can also, show up in, if we're not tapped into that like sensual, sacral energy, creativity can be lacking. And that can ebb and flow throughout our menstrual cycle. I mean, as female entrepreneurs, if you still have a uterus that's bleeding, you're not meant to perform at the same rate as your male counterparts every single day. And I think there's a lot of shame locked up in that as well. There's so much emphasis on this like masculine hustle culture. Like we're just literally not designed to work that way.
Yeah.
You have an infradian rhythm for a fucking reason, your menstrual cycle rhythm, and you're supposed to be different throughout it. You're supposed to be more creative at certain times, more introspective other times, whatever that might look like for you. So if you can figure out how your individual cycle impacts you with your creativity, like you can really capitalize on that.
That's such a permission slip, because I think a lot of women shame themselves or get frustrated or down on themselves for not being as productive and wondering why the fuck they can't get shit done. But it's like, well, your hormones are doing their thing, and to not put that pressure or expectation on ourselves as high achievers, we're like, we have these big visions, we have these big goals, we're building all the things, and we're like, fuck, like sometimes we just don't have it in us, and you just gotta call it. And I feel like I've made a lot of strides in that, but can you talk to like the cycle itself and the stages of the cycle, and like when is the most optimal time to like be creative and rest, and let's talk about that so we can empower women worldwide. Like, yo, yes, like you can force your way through anything, but like it's probably just adding to the stress or whatever's going on physically.
And a little caveat there, but I think there's so many women who have their cycles completely shut off from hormonal birth control. So they're not living in sync with how their bodies are supposed to function. And then a lot of them can be struggling with lack of motivation and creativity and just not feel like themselves. That's the biggest thing I hear from women on birth control. I don't feel like myself, because you don't have a menstrual cycle to be guiding you. And, our phases of our menstrual cycle, our 4 seasons essentially are going to be your winter is your menstrual phase where you're bleeding, your period, whatever you want to call it. We tend to be more introspective. We tend to be, wanting to go inward, wanting to be slow for the most part. And this is painting with a broad brush. Everybody's cycle is so different, but generally I think we need to be turning inward during that time. It is literally the death part of the death and rebirth cycle. Like you're going through a lot. And I think it's so beautiful how our menstrual cycles mimic the rhythms of nature, the seasons of nature, and the fucking power that we hold to literally create life, whether you choose to have a human life or that you bring into the world or just something entrepreneurial. Like you can literally create something out of nothing. And that's fucking magic, if you ask me.
So fucking cool, though. Dude, women are amazing.
We're fucking amazing. Like
so powerful.
Yeah. And your phases of your cycle, you can choose to either really get annoyed with how different you feel and like, oh, I'm not as productive every single day. Or you can be like, no, this is how my body needs to function. How can I really like live in sync with this? So your menstrual phase, sometimes we're feeling more withdrawn, quieter, like a lot of great introspection can happen there. Like I think of it, this death cycle of like what needs to be let go during that cycle. You're literally purging.
Yeah.
Why not purge everything else too? Moving into like follicular phase, our spring of our month is leading up to ovulation. A lot of times we have good energy, we're creative, we're outgoing. I'm in follicular phase right now.
Oh, slay bitch, slay.
What's up?
You look like it.
Thank you. You literally look different throughout your menstrual cycle. Just FYI, if you don't know that yet. You tend to be more confident, more outgoing, more creative. And that's when you want to get projects done. You have better energy. You are more resourceful. Traditionally, women who are in their follicular and ovulation phases would take care of the women who are menstruating because you have more energy, because you have more to give. So like, ooh, I just got the chills.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Right?
That's like lineage shit, yo.
Yeah, it's so
It's
fucking
like,
cool.
Wow.
Women are meant to take care of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much sisterhood wounds and all that, but
Yeah.
we don't need to dive into that the second. But
Yeah.
that follicular phase and leading into ovulation is really powerful energy, like manifesting energy, very entrepreneurial. I mean, if you are your own business owner, you are a woman, a female entrepreneur, like your follicular phase and ovulation is going to be when you're getting shit done.
Yeah.
Like you're a boss ass bitch, you're confident, you're doing all the things. And then like leading into luteal phase, which is going to be our autumn or our fall, there's a lot of variation. So it can be like 2 weeks long, the last 2 weeks of your menstrual cycle, basically. Some women, feel really good the whole time. Others feel a little bit slower the second half of that, the closer they get to their period. But that is also a time where we can be really creative during that time. I think we get to capitalize on maybe a little bit lower energy, but a time to, again, start going inward, start dreaming of things, start creating. And then the action time is in follicular and ovulation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think that my cycle, I want to ask you this because my cycle, when I was on birth control, I knew I had to get off of it because I was getting 2 periods a month and I knew like something was up.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was in London actually, and I was with Kurt at the time. I think we had just started dating. I think we maybe were together for 6 months and I had birth control with me and I was taking like the pills. And I remember I was like, I'm not fucking taking this month. Like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And I called him when I was in London and I was like, just letting you know, like, I'm going off the pill. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm going off the pill. So we got to figure something else out, but I can't do this. Like, I just knew. I wasn't even that connected to my body at the time, transparently. It's just, I knew like, this isn't right. Getting 2 periods a month, like what the fuck? And it wasn't like spot bleeding. It was like a full blown fucking period. So I went off of it. I got post-pill PCOS, started fucking growing fucking facial hair out my chin, like all the things, weight gain, acne, what else? I don't know. Yeah, hair loss, dude, everything. And I was like, what the fuck? I had no clue because I didn't know anything about the body, birth control, any of that.
Of course you didn't.
Because like,
why would you?
Why? Yeah, exactly. I didn't until I had to learn. So I'm like on Reddit. ChatGPT didn't exist yet. I'm like Googling the shit out of this. I'm like, why do I have chin hair? Like, what the fuck? Like, what happens after birth control? I'm reading all this research. I'm like, oh my God. And I actually grew up very holistically. Like, both of my parents were always like, go to naturopathic doctors, let's not use like Tylenol, Advil, like try to do what you can naturally, take this, essential oils, like all the, the fucking things. I'm like, okay, cool. We'll just
get your chakras balanced.
Yes. Sprinkle some fairy dust on it. It should be fine. And so I was like, oh shit, like I got to return to my roots, and like, then I started learning about the stages and stuff. But the longer I've been off birth control, the better, the easier, the pain-free, like the more pain-free my period has been. Like I'm in my, what am I in? I'm in my luteal. That's like right before your period, right? Yeah. I think I'm going to get it in like a week. And I feel great.
You'll get it with the new moon.
Yeah, I'm a new moon sync. I'm synced
I'm a
to
full
the new moon.
girly.
Yeah. It's cool too when you start to time it with the moon and like not intentionally, but it just kind of happens.
Witchcraft, I tell you what.
Yo,
the we
for
get our
sure.
cycles based on the moon.
Dude,
I was talking to my fiance about that the other day. He's like, how does that work? I'm like, fucking witches.
Dude,
man.
the healers and the witches.
It's
so real. So yeah. So what I'm just so curious because I know like I've had so many of my clients like come in for business, right? And then we end up doing all of it, all the healing and the fucking whatever else we do it all. But they're like 9 times out of 10, women that are on birth control when they start working with me are like, oh, I decided I'm going to go off birth control. I think I'm going to go off birth control. I think, and I don't have the tools to like teach them how to do it other than just fucking do it and figure it out like I did. But would you agree that when you heal a lot of the internal stuff, the emotional stuff, the feminine, the relationship to the feminine, relationship to the body, relationship to the sensuality, sexuality, heal a lot of trauma, whatever that means for the person, that their period gets way better, way easier, lighter? Like, have you seen that to be true with your clients and your patients in your practice?
Yeah, 100%. And it's happened for me as well. I used to have fucking terrible periods.
Yeah.
And my journey coming off birth control was kind of similar. I just got to the point where I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot take this anymore. I feel awful. And I had a whole slew of things happen to me after birth control too, which is why I now like support women in coming off of birth control so that it's an easier transition, because it can be a little bit of a wild ride if you don't prep your body first. Sometimes it's not. You know, I think a lot of providers tell their patients like, oh, you're fine to just go off of it. But then all hell breaks loose, especially if you've been on it for a long time. Your body's just trying to figure it out. It's like trying to get back into a natural rhythm, trying to support itself. And I have seen that in so many women, which is why I started diving more into this like somatic, breathwork, deeper emotional healing, is because the women that I was working with, they were getting better to a certain degree with all the physical things, you know, with diet, with supplements, with, you know, all of this stuff. But then they would get to this plateau where it was like, you can only get so far unless you actually go deeper into the body and remove these blocks that are keeping your body stuck in this like fight or flight, traumatized, unsafe space. Your menstrual cycle should feel pretty good. I mean, you shouldn't be dealing with a lot of pain. You shouldn't be dealing with a lot of symptoms. That's common, but it's not normal. Yeah. And when you like start to live in a more aligned way, whether that is through the way you're taking care of yourself physically, but also making sure your body actually feels safe and nourished from an emotional perspective, your cycle can come back into balance as well. You can thrive. We can't expect to have balanced hormones, quote unquote, without removing trauma, suppressed emotions, repressed things from the body. There's just no freaking way.
Yeah. Wow. Am I the only one that's like, I get so excited to like uncover all the fucking shit in my body? Like, I'm like, yeah, let's do somatic work and like find out what I can release today.
I mean, I feel that way, but it's, I was definitely not that way at the beginning of this. There was so much resistance. And like I said earlier, I think this is why so many women avoid this work.
Yeah.
I
think they can bring fun to it though.
Yeah. I try my best.
Yeah.
I mean, I have people come out of breathwork sessions. They're like, that's the fucking craziest thing that's ever happened to me before. I understand why I haven't done it yet, but how do I do more?
Love that.
It's like when you get to this point when your body is at this place where you can explore, you can push up against those edges, then it starts to get exciting. It's like, ooh, what else is locked up in there? What else can I release? Like,
yeah. I know. I do feel like people get addicted to like healing in that way. They're like, ooh, more. It's like popping a zit. Like it's like getting rid of every fucking blackhead on your face. You're like, all right, there's another one. Gotta get it, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I think there is something to be said for actually enjoying the journey and letting yourself be present without feeling like you constantly have to search for more things to heal, quote unquote. But it does get addicting in a way, because it's like, holy shit, this is so powerful. How are people not talking about this?
Yeah.
How are we not educated on this growing up, especially as women?
Yeah.
That this is a huge player. And there's a reason why women deal with things like autoimmune diseases more than men. There's a reason why the pathologies in the female reproductive tract, like fibroids, endo, they are so deeply tied to our emotional state. Like, where I don't see that happen as much in these like male specific pathologies. Not that it can't, but
yeah. Wow. Okay. This is wild. So say somebody goes through this process, maybe they get off birth control, or maybe they're not on it, but they're starting to connect back to their cycle, their kind of natural rhythm, their sensuality, their sexuality. Like, then what? Like what can somebody expect to experience on a day-to-day, whether it's in relationship, in their business, relationship to self? Like, what does that look like when you're like actually reconnected to the body and your sensuality and sexuality?
The question I like to ask people is like, how good can it get? Like, when you remove some of those blocks and you're actually living in alignment with your body's natural rhythms, with the rhythms of nature, with the way that your body wants to be nourished physically, emotionally, how fucking good can it get? Your friendships change, your relationships change, your relationship to yourself changes. Like you essentially stop accepting less than what you deserve. You just like fully own that you are worthy of feeling good mentally, emotionally, physically. And that shows up in every area of life. And then you start to almost like, it almost tips the scales where it shows your mind that like, oh, this is actually possible. I don't have to feel disconnected. I don't have to feel numb. I don't have to feel crappy. I can feel really good. That doesn't mean there's not that other side of the coin with pain and anger and frustration. We have to feel that too. But you allow yourself to feel that more rather than just being in this numb, like disconnected state, which was how I lived for a long time.
Yeah. So I'm also hearing there's a huge piece of this around worthiness.
Oh, 100%.
Where when you feel worthy of pleasure and having a great life and having a great partnership and having a healthy body and all the other things, that's a key ingredient.
Mm-hmm. My life changed the first time I did a breathwork session, and the theme was wake up to your worth, because it uncovered the fact that I didn't feel worthy to receive anything, which was why I was stuck in this people-pleasing state. I didn't feel worthy of a healthy relationship. I didn't feel worthy of physical health. I didn't feel worthy of money. Like there's so many blocks. And I think especially as women, we're more susceptible to that.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, don't take more than you need. Don't ask for more than you need.
Just accept the bare minimum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bare minimum. Like,
yeah.
And that breathwork session literally changed my life. And like one session can change your life if you are in the right space to receive it. And it just resonated so deeply with me. Like I remember just like sobbing. Wow. Because she had us go in with our inner child and essentially like visualize her, which I do a lot of inner child work as well with my clients. And I just realized that I was holding on to so much wounding, so much, not enoughness, like not feeling worthy. And we don't often have the awareness that like that's what's blocking us until you go deeper into the like subconscious and something like a breathwork session or therapy or something like that. And then once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right.
Because that influences every area of your life.
Right.
Money, business, relationships, sex.
Yeah. And nobody's like walking around being like, I'm not worthy.
No.
It's like they're consciously saying, I want this, I'm worthy. But subconsciously they're saying I'm not worthy. Yeah. And that's why like the somatic work, the body, the breath, the dance, it's basically those practices are helping that stuff surface. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, because so much of this stuff is so hidden because our minds don't like to feel discomfort. They don't like to be experiencing pain. So they shove it essentially back in the closet. Yeah. As far back as possible. We use all this energy to keep it from our mind all of the time. And then when you do something that brings you into this deeper, like subconscious space, whatever modality that might be, it starts to unlock all of this stuff because you're probably not walking around thinking, oh, I'm not worthy. You're probably like frustrated that you're not getting the things that you want. Right. You're probably frustrated because you feel like, is this all there is? Or I feel numb. Like you're constantly scrolling or using food or alcohol or cannabis or something to numb yourself out. Like that's where I was stuck for a long time. And that's where I see a lot of clients like coming in. Yeah. Because they haven't like done that work to uncover what's going on underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's like a totally telltale sign of where you're blocked, whether it's mindset or somatic stuff or just repressed shit is like, what area of your life do you not have what you want? Mm-hmm. Part of you doesn't feel worthy to have that. Mm-hmm. And that's what has to get changed.
Yeah. I mean, or you can think about it from an existential kink standpoint. It's like, you're not getting what you want. You are getting off somehow by not getting what you want.
Yeah. Like let's talk about that more. Let's talk about, I love existential kink because it's so fucked up.
It is.
And it's so human of us.
It's so triggering.
To be like, oh, I'm getting off on the fact that I'm not getting what I want.
Right. Like for me, that like I started getting this awareness of where is the first place I noticed this? Well, let's just go in with money because that's where I've seen the biggest blocks here happen. Yeah. Existential kink means what you're not getting, whether it's in life, relationships, money, whatever, you are being served somehow by not getting what you say you want. So subconsciously, some part of you is benefiting from you not having the thing that you want. For me, money has always been an area of like some blockages where it's like me not receiving the amount of money that I wanted was serving me because it kept feeding this story of don't take more than you need. Don't ask for more than you need. You're not worthy of getting more than you need. Rich people are bad. Money is bad. Like there's all these subconscious beliefs. And like existential kink is quite literally, it's like, there's a reason why you're not getting what you want. It's because part of you is benefiting.
Right.
And you have to figure out what part of you that is, send it compassion, love, and like figure out how to rewrite that story, basically.
Yeah. I had that awareness around money. I don't know how many years ago it was, 2 or 3 years ago, where I was like, I don't want to make a lot of money because then my parents are going to judge me. Because if they know that I know how to make money and, you know, have actually build wealth, then they're going to judge me. Because we had those types of conversations when I was a kid, you know, like there were just, when people have more money, there's more people, you talk about them.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be talked badly about. I didn't want people to get the wrong idea. I wanted people to know I had a good heart. I was trying to control perceptions. So I was like, let me just stay like under the radar. Like I'm doing well enough to be fine, but I don't want to be like too bright. Cause then like, if I'm too bright, then I'm going to be this, like this beacon, and then people are going to be able to like shoot me down, you know? So if I don't go so high, then I won't get fucked, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's so valid. And there's also this perspective too, where I think a lot of women fall into this trap. It's like, we're coming at anything from a place of scarcity rather than a place of abundance, where it's like, if I have this, then that takes from other people, or they'll feel bad about not having it, or I'll make them feel small. When in reality, we're just keeping ourselves small and disappointed by not going for what we actually really want.
Yeah. And in the bedroom, like, let's go back to sex.
Yeah.
Like if you are thinking to yourself, if I ask him to go down on me, then that means he has to go do that. And then what if he doesn't want to? Like there's this whole mental thing. Yeah. But when you're like, I want to ask, and period, it doesn't mean that, oh yeah. Like, I feel like that's where the people pleasing comes in, is like in the resistance and asking, you know, 9 times out of 10, at least my experience, men want to do all of the fucking things for you. Like you ask and your wish is their command.
Yeah. Well, they can't fucking read your mind.
Good
right?
men, I should say.
They can't read your fucking mind.
Right.
So if you don't ask for what you want, they're not going to know how to give you what you want. Maybe they'll guess and they'll get it right. Yeah. But that's like trying to fucking hit a target with a blindfold on. Yeah. Like maybe they'll get it right sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time, if you're in a partnership or relationship, regardless of who you're with, if they love you, care about you, respect you, are attracted to you, they want you to feel good. Mm-hmm. And I think there's these hangups and shame around reciprocity of like, oh, if he does that to me, I have to do something for him. Like it's not, it doesn't have to be like that. Those are not like mutually exclusive. You know, you can have somebody give you pleasure, receive pleasure without feeling guilty of having to give it back. Yeah. You being in your pleasure for somebody who appreciates you, loves you, that gives them pleasure. Totally. Like that was such a huge hang up for me for a long time. It's like, I didn't know how to ask for what I wanted, or like I felt bad receiving it because I feel like I was taking too long, or I was taking his time, or I'd have to reciprocate or whatever. But when I started realizing that my partner quite literally gets off on me getting off, like, and it brings him so much joy. Yeah. I was like, oh, well, it's fucking selfish of me not to get it. Like,
yes. And I think that more women need to understand that in the bedroom, for sure, that like their pleasure also benefits the other person because we are such nurturing beings, and in business, because I know a lot of women, we've had conversations about this where we're like, okay, I want to charge this much, right? And then your mind can default to, oh, but that's like a lot. Like, what if no one pays it? And what if they think it's expensive? What if blah, blah, blah. Some people, the right people, are excited to invest in themselves. They know that this is valuable, and they are excited to receive the service that you are giving them. And the money is just the exchange of value. Yeah. And it's the same thing. It's like when you realize that the offers that you put out are serving the other person, then you're going to start selling and inviting people to work with you, because it's not just, there's no need to feel guilt around receiving money. You're receiving money in exchange for your gifts, which are benefiting the other person. It's a win-win.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much wounding around receiving because it's such a feminine act. It's such an act of surrendering, letting go, trusting, being vulnerable. And those are fucking scary, right? Our mind that just wants to keep us safe. Vulnerability and trust are really hard, like especially if you have had a negative experience that has led you to not trust yourself or your body or other people. Yeah. Same thing with clients and money. It's like you have to get comfortable with that act of receiving. And if there's any sort of worthiness wounds or things it's going to continue to cock block you, whether it's in the bedroom or your wallet or whatever. It's like,
I love that.
It's really about uncovering, like, yeah, what are the ways that I'm just kind of subconsciously blocking myself? And you can figure that out on your own. It might take some time.
Yeah.
But I think that's where working with somebody to help you, like, really assess your blind spots and these subconscious blocks, because our mind is going to try its very hardest to keep them there because it wants stability. It wants comfort. It wants more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to receive more pleasure, more money, more friendships, more opportunities, you can't keep doing the same shit. Right. And I'm coaching myself in the moment because I know that I go through this shit too, but it's like, it's always, the threshold is always going to be continually like a moving target. Essentially, the more that you allow yourself to receive, the more you will get. And if I think we get to do our very best to change the relationship to receiving so that it isn't coming in with that guilt and shame, and knowing that, again, if somebody is providing you something that feels pleasurable, it's probably benefiting them too.
Yeah. Like, I love that. Like rewriting the story around that for sure. I want to go there. I feel like this is a really important conversation for both of us to have, and for women generally, is to change the relationship to receiving and really feel good receiving, not feel guilt, not feel shame, not feel I'm in trouble, not feel, oh my God, someone's going to find out about me, or whatever other story there is. And I mean, how do you do that? How do you change your relationship to receiving so that you're not putting shame, guilt, negative feelings and pairing that with receiving, but instead you're associating it with good things?
Well, as with anything, I think first things first, you have to figure out where this is showing up. Like, is it you're having trouble receiving in the bedroom? Is it you're having trouble receiving money, clients, whatever? Like, first getting a really clear picture of where you're at. And I think it is helpful to get awareness of like where those blocks stem from. Is it because you were told growing up that you shouldn't ask for what you want, or you shouldn't ask for more, like if those stories are there? Or if you do discover there's some sort of worthiness block, like it's important to recognize those. But let's just take, sex, for example. I think being able to receive involves a lot of trust, surrender, and relaxation. And so much of that is actually teaching the body that it's safe to do that. It's safe for you to slow down, to get into your body and actually feel sensations that feel good, to like really just be present. And I challenge people a lot with sex and pleasure, and you can apply this to anything as well. It's like, utilize your senses as a way to actually ground you into your body, to be present, to be able to actually be there and receive. If you're stuck up in your head having all these conversations of, oh, I feel bad for asking, or this doesn't feel good, but I don't want to ask him to do something different, or whatever that might be, like get back into your body, like actually be in your body. Like so many of us are just living from the neck up. We don't even know how to like actually receive, even if we say we want to.
Yeah. Damn. That's so good. I mean, I think that this is like an ongoing practice, right? It's like,
for sure,
because whenever we have something, we want more of it. That's just human nature, where we are desire machines and we always move the goalposts. And I think it is really continuing to keep using our voice, keep stretching that like edge, right? Of like what we feel. Okay, this is a stretchy edge. I'm gonna ask for this, right? And then slowly, gradually doing that in a safe environment, right?
Of course.
We have to do that in partnership or in business, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like having that safety within to be able to trust. Okay, I'm gonna ask, and if I don't get what I want, then what? Right? Because I think that's where it's like people are scared to ask for what they want because they're afraid to get rejected. And then if they get rejected, it's like, what does that mean about them? It means I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I have to change something about me. And I feel like I've gone through that in every part of my life.
Same.
Because I had so many fucking stories around being good enough and worthiness. And I don't know what person doesn't, right? But it's like when you recognize, oh, the rejection's not about you. It's just the circumstances. It has nothing to do with your worthiness, and you don't need that as validation to tell you you're good enough. I think that's when getting rejected is kind of like one of those things that I'm always like, how many times can I get rejected? That's not how I used to be. I used to be scared of rejection in everything, in relationship, in sex, with money, in business, everything. If I was getting rejected, I went inward. I made it mean I'm not good enough. My little inner child, Sammy, was sad. She would be like, well, what do I have to do? I'll bend over backwards for you. I'll just to get whatever it was. And I see that a lot with women and part of the community, and just generally like women in my DMs too. It's the same. It's like, how do I feel good enough to ask for what I want? And if I don't get what I want the first time, to keep going for it, you know?
Right. Well, you start practicing in safe spaces. Like, start with the easiest possible place to ask. Like, a silly example is like, if somebody asks you what you want to eat and you know that you actually want something, fucking ask for it.
Yeah.
Don't just say, oh, go wherever you want to go. Like, no, start asking and find like small ways to start practicing that. But I think you touched on this, of course, like the most important thing is if you don't get what you want, don't let that mean something about you. Don't let that validate these stories that you have about not being good enough or worthy enough. That's the time for you to actually go inward, comfort your inner child, sit with this and remind yourself that external circumstance has nothing to do with your value and your worthiness. And I think a lot of the times, if we have an area where we're maybe struggling or we don't currently have what we want yet, we tend to outsource and focus our worth solely on that thing, whether it's the way that our body looks or our relationships or money or whatever it might be. It's like, oh, I'm not getting what I want here. That must mean I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. Like, whatever those internal conversations are. When meanwhile, you're fucking crushing it in every other area of life. And there's just this one that you put all your eggs in that basket. And because you're not getting what you want, you make it mean so much about you. So you can start asking for what you want. You can do your best to get into your body when you receive things. But we also have to start giving the mind evidence that, like, you can ask for what you want. You can get what you want and still be okay.
Right.
You can be a nice person and ask for what you want.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And I think what you said, finding evidence, especially in the areas of your life where you are getting what you want, or like whatever areas of life where you're content, I think we all have areas that we get to work on and continually deepen. We can't improve every area of our life all at once. So it's like oscillating between them, right? Okay, cool. It could be a relationship season or whatever, money, this, but and I think they can all kind of slowly rise up together, but it is interesting because I think you always have some sort of like an imbalance in like where you feel you're the most powerful, whether it's with body or relationship or money or whatever. And then you get to kind of even out the power in all of those, like not to outsource the power to the metric, whether that's like what you look like, your business, relationship, etc., sex, and be like, okay, I can still be worthy and lovable no matter what. Yeah. No matter what the fuck's happening in my bedroom situation, my bank account, with my body, all of it.
Yeah. And it really is about that becoming your truth, your story is like, I'm worthy and enough exactly as I am. Everything in your external environment does not take away from that worthiness. And I think inherently we are born worthy. We come into this world worthy, but there's so many layers of shame and shit and trauma and bullshit that, oh, that rhymed. Look at me. that cover that up. And like really so much of this healing journey or whatever you want to call it is getting back to that baseline of like, oh, I am worthy enough as I am. I am worthy of receiving things that feel good. I am worthy of a life that feels amazing, not just like mediocre. And yeah, there's just so many ways that seeps its way into the rest of our life. But when you do work on one area, it impacts the others.
For sure.
Like there's no way that it can't.
Yeah. I feel like you and I, in the work that we've been doing for like a year almost, right?
In May.
Yeah. My God, our anniversary. I feel like you and I have done so much around nothing to do with business, yet your business has grown. It's so funny. Like it's your voice, your power, your worthiness, your confidence, your embodiment, your identity. It's like it's so wild how it still fascinates me how the external really is just because like that, those shifts happen as a result of the internal, the self-image, the worthiness, the lovability, the ability to forgive yourself when you fucking mess up. You know, I know for me, this is something I'm actively working on is forgiving myself and having more compassion when I like mess up. Specifically, I mean, yeah, I guess a little in my relationship, but not really, more so in business, where I'm like, fuck, I should have known that. Or like, fuck, I didn't think of that. But it's actually something that we talked about on the Colorado retreat is having codes. What codes have you unlocked? And what are the codes that you were born into? And then what are the codes that you're actively kind of, opening for yourself? And it's like, some of us just didn't have codes around pleasure. We didn't have a role model for pleasure. We didn't have, our mom was not in her pleasure. Every woman in our life was not in pleasure. So we didn't know that was a thing. Or money. Oh, we didn't have wealth codes. We didn't know how to manage our money. Okay, cool. Got to learn that. Like, we hold ourselves to such a high standard. We expect ourselves to know XYZ when, hey, guess what? We never learned it.
Right.
We never fucking learned how to, be in a relationship with a man. We never learned how to manage our money. We never learned how to run a business. Like, there's so many things that we just expect that, we should know because we're human. It's like, do you know how many people don't know so many things because they just don't know?
Right.
Like,
and then they're afraid to ask.
Exactly. Because then they feel stupid. And it's like, permission slip. Like, I didn't know shit about anything. It's like, you do have to be willing to look stupid and to actually own the fact that, like, fuck, I don't know this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be anything to do with sexuality, money, business, anything. Like, if you don't know, it's like, ask. I think using your voice, and that's so connected to sexuality, using your voice to understand, to ask for what you want, to ask for help, to admit you don't know something. Guys, like, we are fucking human, you know? And the amount of compassion we need to give our inner child and reparenting ourselves to be able to go through these situations, because we can't get what we want if we still feel so ashamed for even wanting that in the first place.
Yeah, and it's honestly wild how much we expect of ourselves. Like, especially as high achieving women, I think it's like, we expect ourselves to do things perfectly the first time and like have it all figured out. Nobody has it fucking figured out. If they tell you they do, they're lying. Like, why are we placing so much pressure on ourselves to get it right the first time, to know exactly how we're supposed to do something when we've never done it before?
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking manual for how to do life. Like, why do we expect ourselves to be perfect right out the gate? Like, mistakes happen. It's how you learn. Like, cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. Like, and being able to admit when you don't know something, admit that you maybe need somebody else to help you out. Like, there is so much wounding around asking for help and having that mean that you're a failure or that you're not good enough.
Yeah. Or that you're stupid or weak or anything else.
I've had so much wounding around my intelligence and like asking for help and all of those things. Yeah.
Same. We're highly educated. You're a doctor. I have a master's degree. When I don't know something and I can't master something right away, you know how fucking annoyed I get at myself? I'm like, I should fucking know how to do this, right? But there's the should. That's shame right there.
Right.
Right. And so I've had to be really fucking gentle with myself because I'm doing a lot of new things in business in the last year that I'm like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And the only way I'm going to figure it out is by doing it.
Right. Like, how were you supposed to know?
Exactly. It's like, you have to fuck it up to learn. Like, I think that's the way. Yeah, of course, we have mentors that can help us prevent some of these like decisions, which is great. But there's also things we just have to learn. And I think it is totally like letting go of that attachment to the ego of needing to have everything fucking figured out. And that I've been wanting to be even more vulnerable on that. Cause I think that, sometimes there's still part of me that I'm like, damn, I feel like I should be farther ahead. Right. And then I'm like, no, Sam, you got to put in the work more. You got to fail more. That's how fucking success is made. That's how anything is made. You know, just got to be willing to look stupid a little and maybe not a little, a lot and cringeworthy. And you're going to figure it out, but you can't just sit there and hope and wish that it was better without taking the action and facing the rejection or the failure or the whatever.
Yeah. One reminder that I constantly come back to is like, you can fuck up, but you can't fuck it up, right? Like, you can make mistakes, but as long as you're picking yourself back up, as long as you are asking people for help and learning, like, you're not going to fuck it up. You're just following a path. Like, and again, how are you supposed to know how to do any of this stuff? I feel like I, constantly am shitting on myself, and which is again just like shame in a sneaky disguise. It's like, oh, I should be farther along. I should know how to do this. Da 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 da. Yeah, that's no. It's about like really going in, and I think a lot of that lives in the inner child too, of like always wanting to be right, always wanting people to like you, always wanting people to perceive you in this way. But like you just said, you have to get willing to be uncomfortable, to fail, and just pick yourself back up and keep going.
Yes. Okay. I want to wrap this convo up exactly with what you just said, which is getting uncomfortable. I've been playing around with this term called the discomfort zone.
Ooh, I love it.
And, it's basically this edge where it's not comfortable for you to do the thing, ask for the thing, experience the thing, whatever. I want to know, where in your life are you in that discomfort zone? And is there an area of your life or a thing that you want to do to get out of your comfort zone and you want to just claim it?
That's a good question. I mean, I think there's a couple areas.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use an example from the other day?
Sure.
Of course, it's coming back to sex, but my discomfort zone is still getting more comfortable with asking for what I need. Like, I have come so far in asking for what I want in bed.
Yep.
But the other night I was like overthinking the fuck out of everything. And I didn't ask for what I wanted. My partner literally just like tied me up, put a blindfold on me. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. This is what I needed. But I literally had to tell him afterwards. I'm like, that is what I need. Like, when I'm in my head and overthinking and can't like shut off and like turn on and tune in, like, just do that to me, please. And he was like, okay.
I love that.
You know, he's pure. I love him to death.
We love him. We love him.
We love him. So just continually asking for what I need in that way, and even just playing around with what that is that I need.
Yeah.
And I think there's also still some stretches, and we've talked about this a lot, in being visible, in being seen, and owning my genius and my power. And obviously that's something we've worked on for so long. And like you said earlier, like, so much of the shit we've worked through has nothing to do with business, quote unquote, but has everything to do with business.
Yeah.
So I am committing to showing up. And this year my word is unapologetic. So just giving less fucks about trolls on the internet or what people think, and just being more me. You know, that's something that is very uncomfortable because I was not used to being that. So that's my discomfort zone.
Dude, I'm so excited to see you shine even more. And you got your new podcast out.
Yes. The Juicy Truth with Dr. Jenny.
Yo, it's so good.
So juicy.
So juicy. I mean, I feel like I had such an honor with Voice of Visibility launching it with you and doing that project. Like, it was so fun.
Yeah. It was such a labor of love. And honestly, I don't think I would have done it without committing and like going in with you guys, because it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. But it wasn't anything that I was going to rip the Band-Aid off for myself and do until like you were like, no, this has to happen. Like, you're doing this. And I was like, oh, you're right. I've been wanting to do this for so long. And like, now that it's officially launched and like out, and I listened back to it on the plane yesterday, my way to Austin, and I was crying. I was like, I'm so fucking proud of myself. And so thank you. And I don't think that I would have done it without like actually committing and going in and being like, well, these people are producing it for me, so I guess I got to do it. I got to show up. Like, and it was uncomfortable. Yeah. And even like receiving a lot of feedback from it and like praise and things, I have to go in with my nervous system every time and be like, you deserve this. You're safe. Receive. Like, literally touch my tit. And so much of that is just continuing to reprogram that belief of like, it's safe for me to receive. And I think that's going to continue to show up with this podcast and with all sorts of visibility. And
Oh, dude, that's juicy. Thanks, Juicy J. Dr. Jenny, I love you. I'm so glad you could make it and be on the show and we could do this together.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here in real life too. What a treat.
I know. Fucking IRL, yo. It's the titties.
It really is. I mean, online obviously is great.
I'm so grateful for both. But recording in studio is just hands down the best. The energy, the vibes. I feel like we can like do a little twerk party after, you know, it's like, oh yeah.
100%.
Oh, well, thank you again. I love you. And I'm excited to tear it up with you. And your show is popping off. So I'm excited to see who tunes in, who listens, who gets feedback, who works with you. Like, you're changing lives. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking about sex and all the juicy things, because I'm so here for it.
You know I will, girl. Love you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.